Hey guys, I'm just vibing actually. I'm watching a streamer, the only streamer I watch, mapping out what I want, thinking through it. It's really fun. It's 1 a.m. Sorry, they're gonna lower the volume. Funny. Um, this is the first time I felt like I was vibing. I don't like that word, but This is a good word to describe it. Or just chilling, I guess. In like a long fucking time. Like I just feel this, even though in a bad situation. I just feel like this flow state without the stress. It's really nice. Um, the reason I'm recording right now again is I just want to document my thoughts. Not my feelings, my thoughts. Because what I did, I mapped out the last pillar. Now these could, or hierarchy. Now these could definitely change since it's only been like a day or two of thought. Maybe if I have some huge paradigm shifts. But like this seems pretty damn solid. And I don't think it's really just about like a monumental amount of critical thought. It's just about like, because the heavy lifting's been done, I've already mapped out like my drives and my vision board, and I've already like logged so much shit and did so much action to like I have a history of patterns and data. And I just looked at it and it made total sense. Like things I've done in my life, because the only reason I know this stuff is because, you know, not in an egotistical way. I've done a lot in my life so far, um, done a lot of different ventures. And like the good thing about my previous self, one of the amazing things about my previous self is that I would just pick something and stick to it. I wouldn't like fucking switch too much or change too much. So yeah, I have, like I said, I have the family, I have the music part. I believe I changed the descriptions for some of them. So family's the same, spending time and taking care of the people that I love, not including biological family. It could include some of them, but it's not like your blood family, it's like your actual family. Music, I changed. Um, I want to be a world-class musician and collaborate with musicians to create amazing pieces of art. I'm just getting a bit more specific on it, clarifying because here's the thing, I mapped out the last one and it's self-ascension, or it was freedom actually, freedom. And I just wrote the ability to like be whoever I want. And I was like, that's cool. But it's like, Nick, you're literally writing what you want. So like, that's cool that you want to become whoever you want, but on this piece of paper you're supposed to like write down what you want to do. Like I know I have freedom, it's like it's weird. So I was like, okay, damn, let me look at the music, because the music was just like, I want to make art, right? Pretty broad. And let me specify it. So I want to be a world-class musician and I want to collaborate with others to make pieces of art that are cool. That's one. And then I have advancing civilization. So same thing, I want to build things that solve big problems for people that have an impact. The change I made there was, instead of big problems for the world, I put for people, because I want it to feel more specific, like more like clear, not just like problems for the world. No, like the world is a fucking rock. What am I doing it for? For people, for actual living human beings with problems. And the one that I chose for now, it might change, because there's going to take days of thought, weeks of thought, and it's probably going to change over the course of weeks and months and stuff, which is going to be cool to see. I've put self-ascension. So I have some proof of this, because what I've learned, and it's funny because Kai told me to not look at 1,000 YouTube videos to like get all these perspectives on how to look for your why, but I was just kind of stuck. Like I wanted to like get to the truth. So I was a bit naughty. I looked at some YouTube videos. I didn't go overboard though. I didn't let myself overthink, and I definitely did not overthink too much when writing the stuff down, so it's good. But I learned today that like, and I already knew this, but I just like, someone confirmed it. is that you do have values, and a really good way to know your values. And this, I learned this from Sam Ovens actually, because Sam Ovens was talking had a video way back then, like most of his videos, but I watched the video back then of him describing like how to find your passion, and he was like, look at your behavior, look at what you're interested in, look at your YouTube search history, all that stuff, and I was like, okay, this could apply to this, and it definitely does. I basically just looked at my patterns, and that's how I got to all of these, by the way, if you're wondering, like, because I gotta tell you, my drives, they fucking align with this shit, and I'll explain that a bit later. Hopefully, I remember. But anyways, moving forward here, I looked at my patterns, and this last one, self-ascension, it kind of lines up. Um, and really, I wanted to just make 3 hierarchies, but I just kept it to 4. Guess what Kai said? Might as well do 4. And I couldn't really find anything else that like stuck out so much without skewing my perception. Because I know what Kai put, so maybe he shouldn't have done that because, you know, it would skew it, but it doesn't really matter. I'm good enough to like not let it happen. Um, but I was debating between putting like documenting my journey or something, and I thought about it. I'm like, Kai said that. I'm probably thinking of that just because Kai said it, you know. And I had done journals for a year, but there was no like strong drive to like document everything, you know. I just did journals to like improve essentially, so I don't think so. What I have seen a bit of proof of though is self-ascension, and I've seen this like, I don't know, drumming supports it. I've always had like this drive to just like make life a video game, you could say. And I know a lot of people say that, but it's like if life was like legitimately a video game, like if there was like a YouTube video of someone living their life, like 24-hour YouTube video, and it was like bars and shit, like really weird, weird stuff. I'm just kind of obsessed with that for some reason. Don't know why. But self-ascension, description that I put, is constantly improving in any domain of life that I can improve in. And then another sentence says, being elite. I'm just obsessed with that, to be honest. Back to my point before, thank God I didn't forget already. My dry vacuums, this gives me a lot of reassurance, because normally dry vacuums is like something you're missing, and to miss something means you want it and you don't have it, right? And it correlates. So like, for example, one of my vacuums is to find freedom and gain control. And the way that fits into my hierarchy of values is like if I didn't have freedom, I wouldn't be able to pursue any of my values, most of them at least, right? Like advancing civilization or self-ascension or music, right? Not having freedom deprives me of the ability to pursue my values, right? It's pretty domain meta-ish, because freedom isn't something specific, it's just like the ability to do anything, but it makes sense. Another one is, to be quite frank, lacking love and intimacy, right? And that correlates directly to family, right? Family is spending time and taking care of the people I love, right? That correlates directly. That's pretty much a yin and yang relationship right there. Another goal is to protect the inner child, because I got bullied when I was young, pretty much all of school. Funnily enough, my kind of teasers, bullies, in senior year of high school were actually kind of cool dudes, and I wonder if I'll see them again one day. But they're pretty chill people. They're just very immature for their age, so they fucking cracked at me for a lot, but they were honestly like not bad people. I don't know if that's true or not, but okay. But it's to protect the inner child, because I felt inferior, and the drive was like to be better than everyone else, and that directly correlates to self-ascension. That's like one of the biggest things I looked at, and I was like, maybe I just want to like get really good, like get elite, you know, even if it's not like wholesome or whatever. Like I want to be better than other people and feel better than other people. That's a drive, or that's like a value that I have, you know. For now, you know, it's going to change over time, because when you accomplish things are going to get filled up. Another one was just drumming. Like, the goal was for this drive was to pursue a hobby that makes me feel really happy and badass. And I say badass because I ask myself why I like drumming. And it's just like, obviously it's my passion, but the feeling it gives me is that it feels badass when people are really fucking good at it. And it's just fun. It's really hard to like get deeper than that when it comes to like a lifelong hobby. So that'll take some time, but that's what I got for now. And what I got now is a lot of thought. So it's not just like nothing, but yeah, and that directly correlates because one of my values here is music. So you can see how this works. Funnily enough, I have 4 dry vacuums and I have 4 hierarchies. Kai told me to just put 4 hierarchies, but I didn't realize coincidentally I had 4 drives, which is funny. And I mapped out my drives before the hierarchy of values. That's cool. That's like a way I've done that. Is instead of thinking like, you know, what's something I would want, you know? I was like, you know what? Like what have I been chasing this entire time, you know? Because whether like you realize it or not, you're always chasing something. Like for example, I've obviously been consciously chasing the business like 24/7, but you know, I'll literally find myself watching drumming YouTube videos, drumming very occasionally, and just thinking about drumming all the fucking time. So that's like a way that my subconscious is like trying to get that value that I value, right? Because you already have values, you just have to know what they are. And it's the concept of like making your own values, that's like a sticky one. It's gonna take a lot of explaining, and to be honest, I don't even understand it that much because I don't want to overcomplicate what I'm already overcomplicating right now. But you get the point. Most of the time you already have them, assuming you live the life, you know, long enough. Let me mute the stream for now. But okay, fuck, why did I stop this recording? Yeah, so right now I am just like literally organizing them. And yeah, the goal is to have the best version of these as possible in terms of the order. So yeah, so I put self-ascension at the very bottom because I thought about it like this, like out of the 4 of these, like what would be the least painful to not have, you know? And I thought it was number 4, you know? Because without the family part, like I'd just be fucking depressed and probably suicidal. Music, that's like my biggest hobby ever. I would never give that up. I literally I literally didn't even drop it for the business, you know? And then this was the hardest one to figure out. But I figured like, first of all, by advancing civilization, I'm gonna become a better person anyways. And number 2 is not that I like desire it more, but for me it's more important to like build things because like it gives you more purpose. You're doing it for other people. Self-ascension is just like improving yourself, and that's not the whole self-improvement space online where it's very toxic and all these kids are like, they're like incels and like all this shit, you know? I'm just saying like for example, right? I'm gonna have a lot of years on this earth. Eventually, I will get at a world-class level at whatever I want to do and drumming and have a fulfilling life. From there, it's gonna be like, do I want to start learning this thing? Do I want to start pursuing this thing? Do I want to start building this thing? Do I want to start running these type of businesses? Do I want to start pursuing this thing that I like? Like, it's just expansion, you know, within yourself. But it's really not that important because like that comes like later. That's like a thing. How do you say this? It's like having a great onboarding process when right now you're trying to do appointment booking and sales, right? Like to do the thing that matters, or the thing that I perceive to matter, right? It's not an objective, it's what I think. Only and it doesn't matter what anyone else thinks because what I'm saying is not a rule that anyone has to follow. But personally me, like the music and the family and stuff, that's like appointment booking and sales. And then getting good at other shit later down the line, like that's obviously that's like optimizing your onboarding process. Like it's really not gonna do it's not gonna do as much as the other ones, right? Which again, it's a hard hierarchy, man, because like funnily enough, the family pillar, the music pillar, and the advancing civilization, aka you could just call it building shit. Those are really easy to figure out because I've been thinking about them like 24/7. Like these are the things I want to do. I just have to like specify it so I don't feel so much anxiety. The last one though, I was like, damn, what else do I need? um, because I put freedom, but like that doesn't really make sense, you know? Like, yeah, obviously you want freedom. Um, and I say that because like freedom isn't a value. Freedom is what you need to get the value. It's not the actual value. You know, the value is what you want. The freedom is how you fucking stop what you're doing and go get the value, right? It's like saying I have a higher. It's like saying one of my values is having values. Like it makes no fucking sense. So I didn't put freedom, and then I also thought documenting my journey, but I was like, you know, there's like I've never really passionately thought about documenting my journey. I never like my mind never got excited about thinking about documenting it. So I just didn't do that. And then the only thing I could have thought of, and this is like my thought process, again, I'll summarize it, but the way I was trying to figure out like what like mattered to me is like my brain is very active, right? Like it'll think a lot. And so normally when I want something really badly, I'll just think about it without even me thinking about it. I'll just think about it, and it'll like essentially tease itself. Like for example, music's the biggest example. To be like the biggest example. Music, it's like all the fucking time I just have like drum beats in my head. Just like random music. I can't like get it out, and it's not a bad thing. I shouldn't delete it. But that's how I get it. And so like the only thing that was racing through my mind like for years and years and years, not racing through my mind, but like I would think about it pretty damn often, especially before I had a goal, especially before I got into business and into bigger things. Like I would just always think like I just want to improve and improve, 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 become a better person, not like a better like, you know, better person. I'm talking about like someone who has more skills, someone who's more capable, someone who's like, you know, elite, like essentially that drive that I wrote down, which in the bottom segments here, like basically you have the goal and you keep asking yourself why you want that thing until you get to the bottom of what you want. Near the bottom here, it says to be better than everyone else, and then it says to feel really good, to be really competitive and successful, and like a big shot, which is corny. Stuff like that. That's kind of how I describe it. That's like what my brain was racing about. And yeah. Now let me get on to what the fuck I was going to talk about. That's a lot of good context, though. I didn't waste any time. Don't worry. Yeah, right now I'm just organizing them. So let me just go through the thought process. Let's see if I can pause this recording a couple times, maybe figure some things out. Okay, so I already mapped out that the self-ascension is at the very bottom, because if I had to like, I'm just thinking like, you know, what would be the least painful? Like I basically did 1v1. So I went like self-ascension versus music. Would I hate my life more if I couldn't do music or self-ascension? Probably fucking music. So I put music above self-ascension. I know that's true. Same thing with family, so I put that above it. And advancing civilization, which is the hardest one to figure out. But I figured like I'm gonna feel way better doing things for other people, and I want to do that more than improving little things about myself that matter to me more. And so I put that above. And so naturally, by just saying this is above it, I put it at the very last. So now here's the tricky part. It's figuring out where family, music, and advancing civilization goes. So for now, I'm placing family where it should be. For now, I have it in third place, believe it or not. And that's not my blood family. That's like, eventually that'll be people like Owen or maybe some other friends. And like, for example, my future partner, and kids. That's kind of crazy to think about, as a 19-year-old having kids. Not now, but like, it's crazy to think about. I will have that soon. That's what family means, obviously. And right now I have it in third because I realized, as depressing as it sounds, like, look, it's literally been like, fuck. Bro, it's been like an entire year, like 13 months, essentially. Actually, fuck that. No. Yeah. It's been like 13 months with no one. Actually, a little bit of Owen, a lot of Owen in the first like half year, or like 9 months, you could say. But like, still, that was an online relationship. I've never even seen his face before. We talked quite a bit, but like, it wasn't like so much. What I'm trying to say here, I basically had no one. I never had a girlfriend. My family at that time, like until like literally past week, I started to rekindle my thoughts about my family. I hated them all the time because like they just don't support what I'm doing at all. But I realized why, and I realized that they are taking care of me at least. So I'm just like, I gotta appreciate them. But just know at the same time that, I can't listen to them really because they don't have my best interest, essentially. That's just like objectively speaking. But yeah, what I'm saying is that because I hated my parents back then, I kind of didn't have like that feeling either from them. I was essentially had no one, right? Then Owen. I'm just saying, like, if there was a scale of like having a bunch of feeling of like Maslow's hierarchy. Let me load this up. So this is best articulated in Maslow's hierarchy of needs, which is just like a pyramid of like what you need to be a healthy person or a happy person, I guess you could say. And the one I'm talking about is love and belonging. So if love and belonging was a spectrum, like for the past 13 months, it's very fucking low. No girlfriend. I've literally, okay, so my entire social life, right? I had Owen, Strike, which I saw on the weekends, and it was in person. So I guess I'm kind of saying my point's a bit invalid here. Strike on the weekends, and that's from like November to April, a good 5 months. And I also, not during strike, but like on the off season, so when I'm not doing strike, I would meet up with friends like very occasionally, like basically less than once a week, way less than once a week. Okay, that's what that looks like. But like compared to a normal person, bro, like that's fucking nothing. I'm not gonna lie. Like a lot of people, they see people that they care about, like, fucking at least twice a week, I would think. Like very often. It was like an occasion, it was like a fucking holiday for me. Strike was pretty frequent, to be frank, but like still, I'm saying is that I had very low amount of this love and belonging, and I was perfectly fine. Like, it was painful, don't get me wrong. That's why I have this as a value in the first place. But I have it at 3 because, like, I do believe music and advancing civilization is actually more important. As weird as that sounds. And maybe that'll change. Again, these could shift at any time as my perception changes. Right now, I have it at 3 because the thing is, I've been perfectly fine. Like, I'm in a desperate situation as I perceived before I talked to Kai. And like, I never gave up. I never even fucking changed what I've been doing. I've been sticking with this vehicle, even though it's been not serving me very well. I have like fucking $900 in the bank account and nothing else. I'm not even making a good income. I'm making like $500 a month. Fucking ridiculous. Anyways, haven't gave up, whatever. And I'm perfectly fine. My mental health right now is pretty good. I don't know if that's mainly because of this. I'm getting this like really fucking good mindset shift, and it's actually sticking, and it's not just something that I learned one day and I forgot. But I've been working a lot, like alone, essentially. If we're talking practically here, on the spectrum of love and belonging, I've been very malnourished, and I've been perfectly fine. And I think that what I'm trying to say here is that because of that fact, like that obviously means that what I'm doing is fulfilling me to some extent, even if I haven't wrote it down. And the whole like flaw with me not writing down is that sometimes like when I was talking to Kai, for example, like that day or the day before that, like I just lost everything, like mentally, like all this values and shit. I just forgot about it, and like I went off the fucking rails. Like I literally had thoughts of suicide, bro. One bad cold calling session, like, and don't get me wrong, the cold calling session was really bad. It was 100, like 4 double dials, and I got like 1 appointment. And I got like hung up a fuck ton, bro. And I don't know what to do. Like that was like enough to give me suicidal thoughts at night. And that's because I like forgot about these values, right? But my point is, because I was able to operate and like still like be totally fine right now with that low level of that such a malnourishment of love and belonging, that obviously means what I've been doing is like enough to like keep me going, like very powerfully, you know, because to do the amount of work I've been doing, to overcome the amount of doubt I've been doing, and the loneliness and like the lack of support, and I even have forces against me, like my family and my environment and my self-perception of myself, because I mean, I'll be honest and transparent, like my biggest, like the biggest thing my destructive voice is telling me is like, you know, I'm very fat and all that stuff. It's really bad for your self-image. And it's even like a very good piece of advice that like to improve self-image, if you just get fit, it's very easy to just really skyrocket your self-image. Anyways, despite all those things working against me, even though I know saying that is destructive, it doesn't help me. Like I was able to push through, and I was able to like stay fine. And that just shows like how much I value music and advancing civilization. That's my thought process, is that family is very important. My real family, not my blood family. But I really don't think I value it more than music and advanced civilization, because I've been doing those 2 things and I've been perfectly fine. It's been painful, but you know, if I were to put family above one of those 2, I would be saying that, you know, that music wasn't as powerful. You know, if you say something's more powerful than the other, then you're also saying that the other thing is less powerful. I don't believe that. I'm using a lot of inversion here. I don't know if you could tell. It's Charlie Morgan. I learned from Charlie Morgan. It's really fucking useful, especially for stuff like this. Inversion is just, instead of trying to find the perfect thing, just find the thing that isn't perfect, and by defining what's not perfect, you'll find what is perfect. It's like process of elimination on crack. So like to find number 4, all I did was like, okay, is this thing better than it? Okay, check. Better, check. Better, check. All right. By default, if everything is above it, then that has to be the last thing, which I put that. Instead of trying to figure out, okay, which one of these 4 things is the least value, like that's just too much thought, you know? You got to go one at a time, like kind of like a machine. Okay, family's number 3, and I'm not gonna lie, I didn't know I was gonna put a number 3 till now. So me talking is like helping me figure this out. All right, now the big one, the one I really don't know about, and the one that is gonna cause my ego a lot of trouble. Because the only big thing, and Kai like really fucked me, not sexually, but Kai really like exposed the fuck out of me, and I'm really grateful for it. It was not comfortable and it was kind of awkward, and I recorded it, but it was really awkward. Um, like it was like it was the first time in a long time where I felt like a dumbass, and I was just like, it was like almost like not part of my identity to do that. I was like, damn, Nick, like you're actually like have a losing mindset right now. But the biggest thing about my ego right now is that I don't believe you can make a shit ton of money with music. At least not as much with an agency. And not as scalable. Like I thoroughly believe right now that music and drumming, especially fucking quad drumming, that's way more niche, is fuck, what was I gonna say? It's like it's more of a hobby, you know, and there's all these beliefs around it. Like for example, I have a belief that I don't want to make money with drumming because then I'll stop liking drumming. Like what I want to do is have the resources to afford to do the thing, and what I could do is just do the thing with no worry about the resources, if that makes sense. Like kind of like when people say like if you make your hobby your job, you're not going to be passionate, whatever. I believe that. I don't know if it's good or bad, but I'm just stating that I do believe it with full conviction right now. And if I have to change that belief, that's fine, but I don't want to believe it for some reason. I don't want to make money drumming. I feel like I wouldn't make enough, and it wouldn't be fun because it's like you're hustling, but you're doing something you love. It's like I feel like those things could be separated, you know. There's a big ego around that, so it's gonna be tough. Right now, if I'm being completely honest, I am putting advancing civilization on top of music. Because music's amazing. No, but I'm doing this wrong. Because I'm doing this live, by the way. I don't know if you could tell. This is not meant to be time efficient. It's 32 minutes long. Basically, if you're wondering, the goal, take out all the ego, take out thinking logistics wise, take out any opinion of anyone, or like take out any effort to try to be cool or successful or whatever. The goal is just to figure out what the fuck you want. So like assuming like you'll be perfectly fine pursuing all that stuff, like you don't have to worry about being homeless or whatever. It's just figuring out what do you want. Like if you were living Minecraft in creative mode, essentially, right? Best way to describe it. If you were living life on creative mode, what the fuck would you do on this earth, right? That's what this assignment is. It's really difficult. It's simple, and it's not meant to be perfect the first time, but like it's good to get it right. You know, it's good to like do a very good job of it. It's not like something where it's like don't spend a lot of time trying to do it perfectly, just get it done. This is like you don't want to try to get it perfectly because you won't, but you do want to like make sure it's very sound, you know? So that's the assignment. That's why I'm explaining why it's hard to you guys exactly. So, but yeah, okay. We got self-ascension on the bottom. We got family right above that. Right now, I need to figure out if music needs to be above advanced civilization, or if advanced civilization needs to be below music. Or whatever. You get the point. I'm just like staring at this thinking right now. Because my brain is like thinking about thought processes. My brain is like first thought right now is my brain's like my brain is telling me like I need to build things so I can afford to do music, right? It's thinking logistically, so that's not good. What do I want, Nick? Like if I was living life on creative mode, like would I want to build shit or would I want to drum? It's like a mix of both, bro. I'm not gonna lie. Because the thing is, I'm just like journaling. I'm basically getting thoughts and I'm just like saying them out loud right now. This is really weird. I never seen really anyone do this. At least not that I remember, but look. So I love drumming, but It's like it all ties in, bro. Because music's like this big thing I love, but there's components of it. One of it is like being elite at music is it's really cool because like you could just display how good you are. Like it's kind of like whipping your dick out. And that's part of the self-ascension. So there's that bit. And then there's also strike, which is part of family, right? Like I would consider some people would strike, for example, Jacob, a good example. Or a kind of a past met or kind of a we don't really talk really ever, but he's like kind of a mentor figure. His name's Randall Perot. He was a teacher at Strike and he taught there for a few years, and I knew him. Stuff like that's family, and so that ties in as well, and that's part of music. But I'm just trying to compare it with the Advancing Civilization, right? Because like I love playing the drums, like it's really fun, but one of the biggest reasons why I love it so much is because I do want to like, it's almost like this drive that I'm experiencing, but like still working towards. It's like I haven't got it, but I got it, you know? And I guess the got it is like working towards it, and that's how powerful it is, I guess you could say. But I want to build a resource, whether it be a course or an app. I don't know the vehicle yet. I want to build a resource that helps people get really good at drums. Like the best one out there, like essentially the Imperium Acquisition, but for this instrument that I've gotten really good at, which obviously I'm very rusty right now because I just been devoting all my time to the business, and it's fun as well. You get the point though. I want to do that. I won't explain why, it'll take too much time, but essentially I didn't have that, and I just had this innate drive to build it, which is why I even have the Advancing Civilization on this sheet right now in the first place. Because I really, like when I think of Elon Musk or something like that, of course, I don't think I could work as hard as he could, because he's just insane. But like what he does like really excites my brain. It's like, dude, I would love like building something like SpaceX or like Tesla or what, just the concept of like one person building an array of things that like literally change the entire world is just so cool to me. It's like it gets my subconscious really happy. And that like also ties in with the music, you know. But I guess I should isolate the music, you know? Because the music is just, I want to be a world-class musician and collaborate with others. That's it. So, I mean, honestly, bro, I'm really thinking right now, I value Advancing Civilization over it. Because dead ass, like, the Advancing Civilization, like, feeds into everything. First of all, it feeds into everything. Second of all, I've realized that for most of these values here, the music and the self-ascension, not the family, because family's just like having connections, but for like all the practical things, a big reason why I love them so much is because I'm building something. Like for the music, like my most optimal experience with music is like doing it and also building like this thing to teach people. And that's part of Advanced Civilization, which Advanced Civilization, to define it, is I want to build things that solve big problems for people that have a big... Ooh, I gotta correct that grammar. I want to build things that solve big problems for people that would have a big impact. There you go. That's what that means. I think for now it's good. I know it's very quick. It's like only 10 minutes of thought, but it's really simple, man. Like all the heavy lifting has been done. I don't have to soul search for this shit. I just gotta write it down. Which is weird that I haven't like figured this out before. It's like this is like the simplest shit ever. Like literally the simplest shit ever. All right, sick, man. It's weird though, because I think my ego is still getting in the way. The reason I say that, I'm looking at this list. It doesn't like click right now. I feel like it should click in terms of feeling, because in reality transurfing, basically, what they explain is that all the emotions you get are subconscious. So you don't just get random fucking emotions. You might with hormones and like food, because food could definitely influence that stuff, but like very, very powerful emotions, especially like motivation and any stuff like that, that's all subconscious. And so a good measuring stick I use is when I like critically think about something, especially when it comes to like what I want and like what would make me happy. I look at it and it needs to like click. Like for example, a vision board. If I make a vision board and if I don't feel motivated looking at that thing, I'm just like, I didn't make it right, you know? Anyways, I'm just explaining how I think so that you guys can know why I'm saying the shit I'm saying down the recording, right? Okay. I'm looking at this list. I don't feel much. I'm thinking I did this wrong. I'm thinking that I'm either thinking logistically or I'm not even realizing that I'm accounting validation from other people and pendulums into my reasoning, which is not good. Which basically, in dumb terms, it means that I'm not thinking about what I actually want. I'm just thinking about what other people want me to do without even thinking about it. It's like the kid who goes to college because his parents want him to go, but he's convinced himself that he wants to go even though he doesn't want to go. Okay? I'm just trying to like think here, man. It's just a bit hard, especially on camera. I'm trying not to make this like super long, but I just want to like document this part, you know? I'm gonna pause this real quick. Okay, I'm thinking about this for a bit. It's really hard to think about the difference between like what you want and what's important, because my brain's battling. It's like, Nick, yeah, you love drumming, man, but like you need to pay the bills and you need to have resources to like build the resource and film the equipment. It's weird. I haven't figured out yet. What I'm thinking about right now is that whatever the order it is, it's not gonna be like this is way more important than the other things. It's gonna be like almost a tie, and then those two things are gonna be a little bit. There's gonna be like a very tight gap in the 1 and 2, and then there'll be a bigger gap, and then there'll be 3 and 4. Sorry if you can hear the stream. Okay, I'm gonna think about this for a bit more. All right, man. I think I have it. I think I fucking have it. This feels better right now. Hopefully it's not a fucking smokescreen from my ego, because that could be a thing. And what I mean by that from a sales perspective is just like my ego is bullshitting the fuck out of me to believe this is true. I do feel like, when I say feel, I mean like my subconscious feels. Which, by the way, for knowledge's sake, so you guys are on the same page with me, according to Reality Transurfing, which is a fucking amazing book, your subconscious is that it's actually way better to listen to your subconscious than it is to listen to your conscious, because your subconscious is like it's way more authentic than your conscious, because your conscious is like aware of all the bullshit, what people are saying to you, all this stuff that could like just ruin everything, and then the subconscious is way more like clinging to the past and things that are actually true. And most of the stuff that's true is like, for example, things that you've been doing in your childhood, things that you've been truly passionate about, like all those things are more in your subconscious, I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty positive that's true. Anyways, look, so I put advancing, I'll just say building things for now. I just don't want to put that as a title for the thing because it just sounds too vague. But for simplicity's sake, I put building things above music. And the reason is because I thought about it for a bit and listening to my feelings as well and my experiences and just like what I want, you know? Yeah. there's just like more things that I want, like little things. For example, I really want to I really want to build a program for drummers. I really I want to make a lot of money so I could have cool stuff. I really like eventually, when I get to a position in life, like I really want to build a YouTube channel helping people get better at their life. And I don't know what I would do yet, and that's later. Like right now we're just figuring out what the fuck I want. Eventually I'm going to make it very crystal clear on exactly what to do and the goals associated to fulfill these things that I want, right? These are just very vague things, like having people that you love, constantly improving. Being a world-class musician is a bit more specific, which is good for me. And advanced civilization is just building things that improve the world, that affect people's lives, that I enjoy doing myself, which will tie into like music and maybe some other things that I enjoy doing. But there's just, what I'm saying is that there's more of those things that I want to do that are tied to that than music. Because music's like more of a powerful one. But I realized like, just doing music and making art and whatever, like I have a lot of fun doing it. I've been doing it for like a long time, but it's not like this infinite. It's honestly not like I'm eventually probably gonna get bored of it, like 10 years from now. Like what I will say is that, and this is from experience as well, like when I drum for a fuck ton of time, like yeah, I keep doing it, but like it's not like a video game. So it's cool, but it's not like, how do you say this? If there was like a pool of enjoyment, like a pool of enjoyment you can reap from this thing, I really think I really feel and think as well. Think equals conscious mind, feel equals subconscious mind, by the way. I think and feel that building shit, I'll get a fuck ton more from that than music. Not resources wise, I mean just like pure enjoyment, aka the big question that matters is, what do I actually want? I'm saying what I actually want, I'll get a lot more of what I actually want through building things than music. Because music's amazing, but honestly, for one, like I don't think I'll be doing it forever. I think I would get bored of it. I don't see myself just doing it every day, drumming randomly. Like I think about it like this. Like, I'm living life on creative mode. I'm living on a fucking mountain. I have unlimited food. I have family, all this shit. Like I don't think I'd be too fulfilled if I just like sat on a mountain and drummed all day. Even if I had everything with it. Like I would eventually get really bored. I think the thing that matters more to me is building things. Now I gotta get specific because again, like I don't feel too much right now just because I need to make it more specific. But I feel really good about this. And what I will say, the last note I'll make is advanced civilization and music are very close, okay? It's like, let me put it on a scale for you. Let's map it 100 to 0. And this is like importance, least importance. Number 1 is like a 95. Number 2 is like a 92. And then number 3 is like an 80. And number 4 is like a 78, you could say. Or maybe just like change the numbers to be higher, because I don't think a 78 counts as top 4 things that I want. But like, like 100, 98, and then like, 92, 90. I would say that's more accurate. Maybe not 100, because I don't think you could have that amount. Maybe I'm wrong, but you get the point. I'm not trying to overthink. Okay, man. I know what I want to do. I'm not done though. What's next on the checklist is, well, this is something cool that I could do on the side that'll help, but like it's not like fundamental, is I could write down a list of like things I want to take responsibility of. Kai's a very big voucher, he told me, of what Jordan Peterson said, which is like the people with the least responsibility people who have everything taken care of for them, like they're the most depressed people in the world. And so if you take responsibility for even basic shit like dishes and stuff that's like really basic, it helps. It helps just like have more clarity. I don't know how exactly yet, but it's something Kai told me. I'm gonna do that as well. That's a side thing. That's like a side quest. I guess you could say. Okay, but the important thing, I have my hierarchy of values. Now what I ought to do is, now I have this framework. I also saw some videos. I think what I want to do is start mapping out a lifestyle, and honestly, maybe just even redo my self-tea packet, because that's what Charlie really fucking designed well. And I just didn't even see it for what it was. And I'll be honest, man. Imperium's amazing, but it does miss some stuff, you know? There is some holes of knowledge that I have not reaped from yet, that, you know, that I need and that I haven't got from Imperium, which is fine. It's still like, bro, I cannot describe how good Imperium is. Not to be a like exaggerator, but like, dude, like the shit they cover is just off the charts, man. But they're not perfect. I'll say that. I don't know if they changed their program. I have only like the 2024 version or whatever, which is last year. Right now it's basically gonna be July in like 2 days, which is insane. But okay, but yeah, the point is to map out a life of clarity. So like the self transcendence packet's doing that, but like I look at some videos on like, again, like looking for what I want, like I mentioned it before in the journal here. But like really, and I think it was Jordan Peterson. He was giving some examples. It's like, for example, right? How many friends do you want? And then how often do you want to see those friends? And where do you want to take your date out? Or where do you want to take your beloved partner out? Which restaurant? You know, like that, getting that specific. And it's not like you have to follow that. It's just like getting, you know, it's like a sales. It's like in sales where like you have to get a crystal clear of their heaven island or their desired situation. Or it's almost like when you're doing affirmations and you're imagining a very specific scenario where that thing you're affirming is true in the moment, so you can change your beliefs. See this little motion. But it's like even those things, or it's like, what type of water do you want to drink, or what car do you want to drive? Even, I'm not even very superficial, but like even stuff like that, like I think that's the next step. Is, well, I think redoing my fucking tea packet will be really beneficial. Just because I've mapped this out, like this is a really good framework. This isn't just like a random framework you could do. It's just like, oh, random. Like this is what Kai told me to fucking do, bro. Which is like essentially the biggest problem I had that he pointed out is that I'm not very specific on what I want and why I want that thing. I do have drives. I do understand my drives. But again, I don't know what I want. I just, basically, I would say this is one of the biggest things that Charlie missed. And I could see why, because like if he told us to do this, people would have probably refunded him because then they would have known that they didn't really want to own an agency. So it's kind of funny how that works. But what I did before all this is I had an agency and I just took for granted that I want to make money, right? I didn't even question it. I was just like, I want to make money and that's normal and everyone does it. It was basically a pendulum. Now I think about it, now that I actually think about it for like the 5th time and I realize it, that's a fucking pendulum, man. Like money, don't get me wrong, money solves a lot of problems, but like for the most part, people just do it because it's quote unquote successful. Because, you know, it's very rare when someone doesn't make money and they're successful, you know, very rare. So it's a really powerful pendulum and it kind of hides in plain sight, which is really insane to think about. To put my ego aside and just mention that. And so I was just taking for granted that I wanted to make all this money and I was trying to figure out why. And I mapped out my drives and they're accurate. They're not bullshit. But again, I still had this problem. And this is what Imperium didn't mention. is that Imperium was like, okay, you know your number, figure out why you want the number, okay? What they didn't mention is, hey, you have this number, but what I want you to do is figure out what you actually want. Which, again, if they did that, there would probably be a lot of people who are like, damn, I don't even want an agency. And they were funded the program, right? Because they went there to learn how to run an agency. But, you know, you get the point. But what they didn't tell you is to second guess, like, why the fuck are you here in the first place? They just assume that you're destined to make money, and you got to figure out why you want to make money, and that's how you're gonna make money. But the way better alternative is stepping back, like truly stepping back. Everyone says it all the time, but I mean like just pausing your life for like a couple days, like what I've done this weekend. Thank God I've gotten a call with Kai on Friday, not Monday, you know, because I took like 2 days here doing jack shit. I'm very misbehaved. I went to sleep at 5 a.m. Last night. I'm probably gonna go to sleep at the same time today. I'm gonna try not to do 5 a.m. Fuck's sake. That was really bad and painful. But I've been very misbehaved, so that would have been pretty bad if it was during the weekday. Anyways, yeah, the better thing I've realized, and this is what Kai was like, he was like, Nick, what the fuck are you doing? And I was first confused. I was like, what? But then I realized what he was saying. But yeah, the biggest flaw that the 2.0 module is, which is just goals, is that they didn't tell you to take a step back and like ask yourself what you really want. Like, and what that means, again, really wanting something. Oh, sorry. What that means, defining what you want, is assuming everything in your life is fine. You have food, you have the essentials to live. You have like, basically, you're living life in creative mode, right? So you're living a universe where you have infinite everything. Your creative mode is where you can't die, and it's also when you have anything accessible to you, right? And what it basically does is it puts you in this state of no bias, right? Because if you have to think about money and all this stuff, you're gonna think about making money, right? But like, you're in this creative mode where you have everything and you can have any of anything, right? And it's assuming what you want from there, right? Because in Minecraft creative mode, you have all these blocks and shit, and you could do whatever you want. You could dig a hole if you wanted to. You could blow up the entire world. You could build a castle. It doesn't really matter. This is like the craziest. I'm having like a live paradigm shift because I'm articulating this so well for myself and for whoever's gonna watch this, hopefully, maybe. It's really cool though to think, and it's really difficult. It's really difficult because like this is the most true you can get, really. Because it's really easy to tell yourself you need to become a millionaire when you're broke, because you're broke, like you have no money. That's painful, you know. And so it's really easy to like forget about like what you really want and just go over the money just because that's like a survival need. And that's what I fucking did here, bro. I'm not saying I'm gonna quit my agency. I'm just saying this is really good food for thought. But the better thing to do when I'm learning how to figure out my why is taking 2 steps back, imagining I could have anything I want, right? I'm literally putting myself in a different planet if I have to, where everything is infinite. I can get anything I want, right? And then from there, you're in this unbiased planet where you have no need to do anything. You could just sit there if you want. You won't die. You won't be deprived of anything. You could just do whatever you want, right? From that situation, figuring out what you want to do. That's a cool concept. And so that's what they missed, is that Imperium, they're just like, you want to make enough money, and that's the truth. Now you got to figure out why you want to do it. And that's cool, and that will get you to your goal, I think. Definitely. Well, definitely, because they got results. Don't get me wrong. But it's like a matrix, bro. It's literally a matrix. Because you could make a lot of money, but at the end of the day, like by definition, and the reason why we all fucking became entrepreneurs is because we want to do what we do. But like if you own an agency, you don't know like what you actually want, then it's pointless. Like you might as well be in a 9 to 5. That's so insane. And another thing that's coming up right now, I'm not gonna get on a tangent, but I just realized I wonder if Owen knows this. Because Owen, I didn't understand Owen, but he would talk about a lot like what you want. And I think that's because he made a lot of money really fast, faster than me at least. So I don't know if it's because of that or if it's because he had this paradigm shift and he just didn't think that I didn't have it, which, love Owen, dude. He's a cool dude. Hope to see him later. Don't know if our lives are gonna intersect though anymore. It'd be cool though. Anyways, I wonder if he has that paradigm, because from what I'm seeing, like Owen, hopefully he doesn't have a crisis because he's been doing the right thing. I'm hoping that what I'm saying is true, but I'm pretty sure that Owen is doing exactly what he wants to do, which makes me really happy, and it also gives me affirmation that like when you are doing something you want to do, it's really nice, because that guy works really fucking hard. He seems really fucking happy. Again, I'm aware of social media and how things are skewed, but like knowing him personally, he's really fulfilled. And I hope that what I'm saying is true because I haven't contacted him much. So I'm just hoping that he hasn't been putting himself through a facade and he gets in a little crisis of himself. Hopefully he's doing the thing he loves, but from what I'm seeing, it looks like it very much. So like I said, I wonder if he knows what I'm learning right now, which I'm so happy I talked to Kai. Damn, that's crazy. Like I actually like learned something huge. Not even just tactically, just like the most important thing. Like I'm learning how to know what I want. Like I'm putting myself in a situation where I don't need to do anything, like just mentally, right? I'm obviously in a situation of like all these things right now, my environment, whatever, but like mentally pulling my brain, my consciousness, and telling it, look, let's just say hypothetically, you're on this planet, you can have anything you want, so there's no reason to do anything, and there's no reason to not do anything. Or sorry, other way around, I don't know. You don't have to do anything, or you could do whatever you want, right? And then from that area, from that planet, from that environment of all this abundance, and you can do whatever the fuck you want, and you could, like, it doesn't matter, no one will care, right? You could just, like, literally, it's actually really hard to articulate that. I don't know why, but maximum freedom. Like, with all that power, you could say, with all that power, what would you do? What would you want? Like, what do you want? It's so weird to think about. Because, like, literally your entire life, you're just thinking about, like, what you don't have. And that's obviously going to be what you want because you want to have the thing you don't have. But, like, no one... Like, usually we're in a situation where, like, what we don't have is not even what we want, you know? I don't have a Ferrari. I don't have money or a Ferrari right now. But, like, I don't even know if I want a Ferrari. And there's some things that are more obvious, but things like, you know... For example, let me see if I can think of one. Dude, for example, actually no, I'm kidding myself. Okay, this is a mid-example, okay example. But for example, I've been thinking for a little bit of time, not too much because I kind of don't want to do it really. But I've been thinking about, like, what if I was like a course creator? What if I made a course, right? Instead of running an agency. And objectively, like, you know, that's better than running an agency or whatever, but, like, I don't even want to run a course, you know? So if I ran a course, yeah, it'd be a better model than an agency, but I don't want to do it. So in terms of, like, living life and being on, like, a good trajectory in life in general, just, like, life, like, over the course of decades, that's actually regression because you're not doing what you want. Same thing with a 9 to 5. Really easy to describe, like, the rat race and all that stuff. Anyway, that's a huge shift I just had. I honestly had that shift, like, right after I mapped the stuff out because I realized, like, I don't know yet because I haven't made it clear enough to, like, get a lot of feeling from it. And I'm not going to try to force myself to feel things that I don't. But what I really do feel, to some extent, is that I'm starting to, like, really dig into myself. Like, I'm starting to, like, really figure out what I want exactly with no bias. With no pendulums, and I'm not going to explain that further. I just hope that whoever understands know what that means. I know what I want with no external pressure, no expectations from family, no nothing, right? Not from Owen. I don't care, because like a good example, I'll make this like really short, is that I did give a fuck about what Owen thought what success was. And that's cool, like it's valid. But for me, that's not beneficial. I don't want his life. He doesn't want mine. But yeah, that guy's pretty cool. I hope he's gonna go far, definitely. 100%. Okay, I'm gonna leave it here. I think I'm gonna actually go to bed now. It's getting really late, and I have a sales call at 9, so I still want to give that a shot. See if he shows up. If he does, I'll be very tired, but I don't want to just throw away a sales call. Yeah, this was interesting. Really cool. I'm gonna send this to Kai tomorrow. This is really cool. Tomorrow I don't have too much to do. Really, the only task I need to do tomorrow is get these guys' Facebook set up, bro, because literally I was on a Facebook connecting, whatever the fuck call today for 40 minutes, and we literally could not figure out how to get to the settings. Like, it was so fucking annoying. I'm not gonna explain it, but alright, man, I'll see you guys later. This is a long video, but this is really cool. This is like my best attempt to get like authentic, I fucking hate saying this, but like soul searching, whatever, soul searching, I guess you could say. This is the best way to say it. Okay, see you guys later. I feel really good right now. This feels like actual progress. So yeah.